All right, folks, we're back again. Texas Patriot Off-Road and Outdoors on the continuing saga of the Kenmore 90 series washing machine. It's also the same as a Whirlpool. I just don't remember the series name. This thing's old. Battle Axe, been around for a long time. I choose to keep this thing going versus, buying one of them high dollar Samsungs that when parts go out, they're $200 or $300 repairs versus a motor coupler, which is the buffer between the transmission and the electrical motor. That's out on mine. That was about a $20 part there. On this machine particularly, I've replaced the agitator dogs a couple times. I have a YouTube video on that. I've also replaced the water pump. And prior to my YouTube channel, I've done one or two other repairs on both it and the dryer. Anyway, so this is what it sounds like. I'm gonna go to the spin cycle and it just won't do anything. Sounds nasty. Anyway, we're gonna get started on that in just a minute. Wanted to give you a little brief intro on what we're dealing with. Of course, the wifey in here, she wants one of them newfangled Samsungs. Look at that look.
No, you're not putting it on there.
So we're looking at the underside now of this washing machine. You see I've got it laid on its side here. But that's gonna be your transmission right there. It attaches to the agitator. And there's your electric motor there. Side there, that's the actual water pump. I've actually got a video on there about replacing that. But there's your coupler right there. And again, that just attaches your motor to your transmission. And let's see if I can get y'all a little light in here. So, but if you'll look, you got two pieces of plastic on either side and this rubber, almost like an engine mount, like on an automobile. But you can see that's just plumb wore out there. I got my finger in the way, that'd help. But yeah, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna stand this thing back up and we're gonna take the cabinet off so you're gonna be able to access it from the front. We're gonna pull the water pump, pull these pieces here off, which will separate the motor from this backing plate. And there looks like there's two retaining bolts that hold this backing plate against there, and then we should be able to just pull the coupler out. But we'll be standing this up. We'll continue on in a moment. All right, we've got the washing machine cabinet pulled off. Again, you can look at one of my other videos. I believe I pulled the cabinet off on the water pump replacement, which was that item here. But you can see how to do that, how to remove that. So next, we're going to be pulling these two brackets off. You have one here, and then you're going to have one underneath. You'll loosen them, and they're the same type of bracket that kind of holds the water pump on. I'll remove that, pull some of this wiring loose. You got clip here, clip there, and then two over here that you'll pull loose just to free us up a little bit of a slack. And that motor should come right off the shaft, exposing the coupler. Hold tight and we'll get to that in a minute. All right, we're gonna start removing the metal clips, the two that hold the motor onto the transmission, and using a quarter inch drive, a socket, and which is size 1/4 inch. So this is my first time doing a coupler, so we're gonna be walking through this kind of together. And looks like we're gonna probably need a better screwdriver, probably a flat blade will do better. Should have removed the connectors, the electrical connectors first. Make it easier to get to. And just for safety, it is unplugged. One there. Two. And of course, one here. Sometimes they're a little bit rough. That would help if I was doing it correctly. Okay. Just kind of get them out the way. All right. As you can see, we had one of the pegs here break off. Possibly happened during the whole ordeal of dropping the motor, but that's very rounded there, and that shaft does have a flat spot on one side. Get that out of the way. I was incorrect about pulling the plate earlier. It looks like you don't have to do that. Not from what I can tell anyway. Might have to get in there with a screwdriver. Folks, I wish the video was a little bit better. This is just kind of awkward. There we go. So you see this has a flat spot, or two sides that are flat, whereas the motor side is completely wore out. If you look on here, your rubber shock absorber, or whatever you want to call this, and that's kind of what it does. And when the motor engages, especially like a full, when the tub is filled with water, you know, sends a little shock to the system. So what this does is acts as an absorber or a buffer between the motor and the transmission, probably to avoid tearing up the gears in the transmission or the shaft or any hard components. So here's the replacement. Model number there, that's a Supco LP337HD heavy duty motor coupler. I got this from a guy, A Better Deal, in Santa Fe, Texas. A Better Deal, Santa Fe, Texas. He's a AC repairman, appliance specialist, has all kind of used and new parts and services any and everything. He's one of the ones that's anti modern machines, especially the higher dollar machines, that when they have a circuit board or whatever goes out, then it just costs you a mint. Anyway, so there's that. This one looks a little bit higher quality. I may have replaced this at one time. I don't remember off the top of my head. So it's just a matter of putting it back on. It's a matter of getting that heavy motor back in there and clocked correctly to line up and getting everything put in place. So I'm gonna set this here. I'll put the motor back on. I'm gonna pause the video while I do that, and we'll get back to this in a minute. Okay, I ended up making it a lot easier on myself. I picked the base of the washing machine up, leaned it against the wall over there just to try to make it a whole lot easier getting the motor put back in place. Reinstalled the two clips that hold the motor in, fixing to put the water pump on, button up the connectors here, the electrical connectors, and put the cabinet back on and give it a shot. But anyway, yeah, that makes it a whole lot easier than trying to lay flat on the ground on your stomach trying to stall that motor, because it is kind of hefty. All right, folks, that wraps up our video on the motor coupler for a Whirlpool or Kenmore 90 series style washing machine. Basic tools you're going to need. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, flat blade screwdriver, a 1/4-inch socket with a nut driver and or a ratchet. Depends on how tight the screws are to hold the motor on, the motor retaining straps. That's the old coupler there. And again, part number, shout out again to A Better Deal out of Santa Fe for supplying the parts, about 20 bucks. Check out some of my other YouTube videos on other washing machine repairs on this particular washer, and some other content, fun stuff, plus household repairs and whatnot. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. And let's see what it does. It's rocking and rolling now, folks. Again, thank you.